We always talk about the investment in Dubai real estate market, why we are not promoting the investors to invest in the market where there is a history.
I'm not interested in history anymore. I'm interested in the future. Dubai creates history.
Historical factor. Tell me about 2008 incident.
2008, there was a global crisis. Whatever happened in 2008, Dubai has learned and evolved. Understand that if you're over leveraging, that means the risk mitigation has not been undertaken, which was the case in 2008. Then banks were at risk. And because of that, 2008 in an isolated case of Dubai happened. However, that's not the case now.
Tell me what's the exit strategy for the buyers who are investing in real estate market here.
People prefer not only to stay here for a short period of time, but to actually build a home here, raise their families here, and are considering Dubai for a longer period of time. Exit strategy should not be there for Dubai. Rather, our strategy to build a portfolio and to augment and increase that portfolio should be there.
We always talk about the investment in Dubai real estate market. We talk about the stability of Dubai real estate market. But my question is why we are not promoting the investors to invest in the market where there is a history, like where the country is being developed since so many ages, like UK, USA. What do you think about it?
Very valid question, but I'll take this head on if you allow me.
Okay.
You just said in your question about history.
Yes.
So I'm not interested in history anymore. I'm interested in the future. That's why Dubai is one of the few places where you do not have only historical perspective on things, but you have a museum of the future. So Dubai, everything is about the future. If you want to bring your family here, if you want to bring and settle your family in a place, you're talking about future. You're always considering while investing, while making a place your home, you're talking about and you're thinking about future. So your frame of reference, in my humble opinion, has to be correct, and your frame of reference has to be future driven. Tell me a place which has future-centric approach like this, and the rulers who are so future-centric. So that's your answer of why Dubai. And add to it that you're talking about history. So let me remind you that Dubai has always been a place where it creates history.
So today we are not talking about the perfect side of Dubai. Today I'm talking about the real estate market of Dubai is based on the foreign investor, mostly. So what do you think? The market is stable?
Well, that actually delves down into the frame of reference you have. So human beings always consider the frame of reference. The problem is, I wouldn't call it a problem. The actual side is that human beings tend to look at the frame of reference in a historical perspective. Either I've seen something, I have read something, I know something, or somebody has told me something. Now, all those things are historical driven factors.
1 minute, okay. Historical factor. Tell me about 2008 incident.
2008, there was a global crisis. It was not something that happened isolated in Dubai. I would take you back to COVID time. Dubai bounced back from COVID the quickest. The two countries where Dubai was one of the places among the two that actually bounced back quickest. 6 months, we were back in business. The sanitization was going on in the city. Now, it took China with all its might, with all the resources available, it took China 1.5 years to bounce back from COVID. So why do you think those historical perspectives will repeat itself? Now, Dubai as a market has evolved. Whatever happened in 2008, whatever happened in 2098 or before that or after that, Dubai has learned and evolved. So your question is based on the historical reference that you have. What you need to understand is that history is never going to repeat itself because we have evolved from that point. That evolution, since it's future centric, so people's perspective is not clear on that, and we should talk more about that change of perspective.
People still think that there is a bubble
There is
in the
always a
market.
bubble,
There's
and
always
there is
a
a
bubble.
bubble index which is published every year. And so,
Or do you think over the period of time, the market of Dubai real estate has been grown or matured enough that we are not prone to face another bubble?
you see, bubble. When you say the UBS report for bubble index, please refer to that report. Now we are not in that area which is risky. Also understand that people speculate that because there's a lot of transaction that has been undertaken in the off-plan market. Now, off-plan is not delivered, it's not ready. Unlike US, when we talk about US, everything
Yes.
that when people buy and people sell, 90% of that is being
Being-
done on ready properties. Dubai,
Yes, it is.
majority of the transactions that are happening now are in off-plan market. However, liquidity in Dubai and in Dubai's real estate market and the off-plan investment is very solid. It's not based on over-leveraging. Now, if you are leveraging and over-leveraging, that's a different terminology. Now, understand that if you're over-leveraging, that means the risk mitigation has not been undertaken and you have higher risk for that, which was the case in 2008 because of leveraging and at times over leveraging. Then banks were at risk, and because of that 2008 in an isolated case of Dubai happened. However, that's not the case now. Market has liquidity. Once all these properties are going to be delivered in 2026,
Seven
27,
and
28, then the stability will further increase.
So you think the stability will increase when there will be more ready property available in the Dubai real estate market?
You see why all these developers are launching like this. Every second week you have a launch. Every second day you have a launch. I'll give you an example. Damac Islands was launched. Within the same day, 10 billion dirhams worth of business was conducted. Now, take that into the window of those few hours, 10 billion. That means every few seconds, one property was sold. And I'm just talking about one developer. I'm talking about one specific project. So I'm not going into the details of what's happening across the market. Now, you have to take into account all these factors. Once you take these and you have this correct frame of reference, then you will understand that whatever happened in 2008 is not going to happen again. There's a migration of population in Dubai. Global migration is happening towards Dubai. Why? Because Dubai is considered to be the safest and securest place. Even people living in US where you have to pay anywhere between 24 to 47, 43% tax. Here, the tax brackets are entirely different, very low, very flexible, and centric towards the people who are living here. So, those factors, when you take into account, then your point of Dubai is a bubble, and when all these properties are going to come in the market, what will happen? Now, consider the case. You see, all those markets that you are referring to are either within that country or within that region. They're driven by the country's population or by the regional population. Understand, Dubai market is global market. It's not country centric, it's not region centric. It's a global market. So the migration of population towards Dubai is globally happening. Whatever is being done is on a global scale. So that will define your answer.
So you think that oversupply of the inventory is not an issue? The prices will fall for the rents or
See,
the prices
prices
of
will
the.
fall is an abstract term. I'm sorry, I disagree with you here. Prices will fall is an prices are increasing, but are they stable because of the economy? I'll tell you why the bubble happens when your prices of the real estate prices are going up
Right.
and your GDP is either stagnant or on a decline. Now, Dubai's GDP is on the same trajectory of growth as your real estate market. Once these things rise in tandem with each other, then there cannot be a bubble. That's not
But when
that's
we see
not
the
me.
trend, but when we see the trends of
Trend
real estate market, like 2 years, they are spiking.
trends
But next
again.
2 years,
That's
that's different story.
perfectly fine. Whatever you're saying is again your frame of reference, which is built on historic trends. Now, those historic trends are not applicable anymore. That's what I keep on saying to people
How
that you
can you
have.
say this thing? What's your reference?
My reference are all the global reports, all the global indexes that you have. They're published on the internet every day. I can give you the reference of all those indexes. Look at where Dubai is second to Singapore used to lead Dubai.
All right.
London used to lead Dubai at one point in time in tourism. Now, both those countries have fallen back. Your GDP is well over 4%, where the rest of the GDPs in the region are hovering around 2%. The rest of the global GDP is hovering around 1.3 to 1.5%. How can you compare those numbers? If you take those into account, then this definition that yes, there's going to be a spike and there's going to be a fall in the prices are going to increase in a stable manner. There are only two types of people that are going to be the people who understand that and will benefit, and the next generations will benefit from
Benefit.
this, and the people who are
Definitely.
standing on the sides and seeing this from the side and being skeptical,
All right.
they will be the people, I have no qualms in saying that, who will be on the losing side at the end.
There are many investors who are still seeing that there are so many regulatory gaps, the laws change. So, is it
Laws are
safe to?
evolving, they're not changing. If the
Okay.
laws did not change from 1908, then I have a problem with that. If the laws are evolving and they are evolving with the global trends, then I have zero problem with that. You have a happiness ministry. Name one other country where you have a happiness ministry and that too is being led by a female. So, all those changes that are being brought in are going to benefit not only Dubai but the entire region. So one investor tells me, ask him, you know what happened that I invested in such and such place, not taking the names of the places. Why? Because my uncle's grandfather to somebody else recommended. Was that based on historical data? No. Was that based on any trend analysis? No. Was that based on a competent person's recommendation? No. So, I mean, all those factors have to be taken into account.
So before 2008, before 2008, there was a concept of flipping. People were more interested towards the short-term investment. Do you think it's still there, or they are moving towards the long-term investment?
Your short-term investment is always there. Flipping is not happening anymore. Short-term investments are generally happening in economies where you do not have confidence. So you want to put your money in and take your money out as quick as possible, so that when any downturn comes, you're not exposed to that. However, in Dubai, that's not happening anymore because Dubai is a very stable economy. And you would like to consider medium to long term investment because you would like to see your capital grow. So, I'll tell you one more thing. Previously, you could buy a property and you flip it immediately, especially in the case of off-plan property. All the
Yes.
big developers, including Emir, Dimac, Nakhil, Miras, everybody, Dubai property, unless you have made around 40% of the payment, you cannot sell that property. So that used to happen at one point in time Not anymore. Right now, the rules and regulations that are in place dictate that unless you have made 40% of the payment minimum, you
All right.
cannot sell that
Sell the
property to
property.
anybody else.
So, do you think there is an impact of inflation for the affordability of real estate market here in Dubai?
Well, inflation, if you look at the GDP, definitely inflation affects everywhere. But if you look at the GDP of Dubai, then the inflation is the most minimum risk that an investor will have in Dubai. Okay, so imagine that you had a million dirhams in your bank. Now, that buying power of that million dirham will depreciate over time because of the inflation. The
Yes.
same million dirhams, if you invest in real estate, off plan real estate especially,
All right.
your buying power not only remains the same but also grows. Your investment is growing. So, the minimum possible effect of inflation will be when you invest in real estate because your investment is also growing in tandem with the economy. If you keep the money stagnant somewhere, then your buying power depreciates. So that's very simple concept.
All right. So now the buyers are more interested towards the environment. Then overall, the world is more now following the SDG goals. They are more focused towards the environment, water, what else. So if there are so many off plans will be developed in 2026 to 2028, what do you think about the environment and the situation in Dubai? What about the pollution?
Pollution is okay. Okay. The environment that you're talking about, one of the greenest communities that are being delivered are in Dubai, in the entire region. You
All
have
right.
30% to 44% greenery in every community that's coming up. Those plantations, every second community has a beach. Every second community has some sort of like a water body in it.
All right.
So those things are going to positively impact the overall environment within this country. Now, the construction philosophy and methodology that is evolving at a very high pace. There are every day greener and greener footprints of communities that are coming in Dubai. The existing communities are also being converted into green communities. So even I'll give you an example of sustainable city. Now, sustainable city is a project that was entirely conceptualized, developed, built around sustainability, around having green initiatives, around having the environmental the benefits. That is going to be not only limited to one community, but is going to be across the board.
So people are buying property, people are selling property. Since you talked about there's now more rules and regulation, they are evolving. If like after 40% of the development, then you can sell the property. But tell me, what's the exit strategy for the buyers who are investing in real estate market here? What could be the possible exit strategy?
So I don't think people should have, in Dubai especially, an exit strategy as far as the real estate is concerned. I think the strategy now should be to put a portfolio in place, start growing that portfolio, start
Alright.
building that portfolio into bigger and better portfolio, which is going to generate a lot of revenue for you. Look at the global trend of the people that are coming to Dubai. Everybody wants to be a part of this Dubai dream. Everybody wants that I should be a part of this now. So the people that I saw coming here who had a short-term vision are still here.
All right.
People prefer not only to stay here for short period of time, but to actually build a home here, raise their families here, and are considering Dubai for a longer period of time. There has been, I'll give you an example. Previously, you used to have 3-bedroom townhouses as the standard model. Now,
Yes.
that trend is shifting to 4-bedroom townhouses because the families are growing, because more people are coming here, putting down their roots and want Dubai to be the future for their family for the next considerable years. So, exit strategy should not be there for Dubai. Rather, our strategy to build a portfolio and to augment and increase that portfolio should be there. So, Dubai's population right now has grown to 3.7 million, which is going to increase to around 7.8 to 8 million in the foreseeable future. Now, that means that you should not be having an exit strategy, rather a strategy to build your portfolios here. That is what I would emphasize on.